The widow of Alexei Navalny claimed on Wednesday that 2 independent labs have found that her husband was poisoned shortly before his death in a Russian prison. According to Associated Press, Navalny, who crusaded against official corruption and staged massive anti-Kremlin protests as President Vladimir Putin's fiercest foe, died in the Arctic penal colony in February 2024. He was serving a 19-year sentence that he believed to be politically motivated. Authorities said that the politician became ill after a walk but have otherwise given few details on his death. He was 47. In a video released Wednesday, Yulia Navalnaya said that biological samples from Navalny's body had been taken out of Russia and tested at 2 laboratories abroad. She said that both laboratories concluded that Navalny had been poisoned, but had not released their findings due to political considerations. Navalnaya didn't provide any evidence for her claims regarding the labs withholding the evidence. She did not elaborate on what the alleged poison was and didn't provide concrete proof to back up the claims he was poisoned. The 2 countries' laboratories came to the conclusion that Alexei was murdered, namely poisoned, Navalnaya said in the video, which was posted on social media. In the clip, she questioned the lack of video footage from the prison and showed images purported to be of Navalny's cell on the day of his death showing vomit on the floor. She did not provide direct proof that Navalny had been poisoned or that it had been carried out by prison authorities. "I demand that the laboratories that conducted the research publish the results," she said. Navalnaya has repeatedly blamed Putin for Navalny's death, something which Russian officials have vehemently denied. In a press conference Wednesday, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said he was not aware of Navalnaya's statement and said that he could not comment.
У меня в руках показания сотрудников ИК 5 человек. Мы их раньше никогда не показывали. Все они рассказывают, что происходило с Алексеем после перевода в эту колонию. И конкретно 16 февраля. Вот этот двор, в котором Алексей гулял. Такая же камера, только вместо крыши решетка. Во время прогулки Алексей постучал в дверь, сказал, что ему плохо. Когда дверь прогулочного двора открыли, он сидел на корточках и повторил, что ему плохо. Но его даже в медсанчасть не повели, просто завели обратно в камеру номер 16. Алексей лег на пол, потянул колени к животу и стал стонать от боли. Сказал, что у него жжет в груди и животе, потом его начало рвать. Это та самая камера, номер 16, в которой умирал Алексей. У Алексея были судороги лица и верхних конечностей. Алексея вытащили из камеры. Пока его несли по коридору, он начал хрипеть. В медицинском кабинете его положили на кушетку. К этому моменту Алексей уже был без сознания, в которой ему было плохо, в которой его рвало. В 13:25, спустя больше чем 40 минут после того, как Алексею стало плохо, вызвали скорую. Прибывшая через 10 минут скорая попыталась реанимировать Алексея, но безуспешно. В 14 часов 17 минут кардиограмма перестала показывать сердечную деятельность. В 14:23 реанимационные мероприятия прекратились. Он лежал на полу и стонал от боли, в которой он бился в судорогах. Судороги могут оказывать на отравление. В выписке из судмедэкспертизы про судороги не сказано. Но там есть упоминание кровопотеков на локтях и коленях Алексея, полученных за 30-40 минут до смерти. И тогда же произошедшее кровоизлияние в области темени. Алексей в судорогах бился о пол. Вот откуда, по всей видимости, эти следы. Мы смогли получить и надежным способом переправить за границу образцы биологических материалов Алексея. Лаборатории, по крайней мере, 2 стран, независимо друг от друга, провели исследование этих образцов. Лаборатории 2 стран пришли к выводу: Алексей был убит, а именно отравлен.
Деньги у меня заканчиваются, благодаря вашим решениям они закончатся еще быстрее. Так что присылайте.
Я обвиняю российские спецслужбы в разработке запрещенного химического и биологического оружия. Я требую от лабораторий, проводивших исследования, опубликовать результаты.
Есть ли у вас какие-то комментарии на этот счет?
Нет, мне ничего не известно об этих заявлениях, и здесь я ничего не могу сказать.
Ukraine's military intelligence, HUR, carried out explosions in Russia's Vladivostok as a revenge operation targeting troops accused of war crimes. An HUR source told Vladivostok, a major port on the Sea of Japan near China, lies about 6,000 kilometers east of Ukraine, making it one of Russia's most distant cities from the war's front lines. The operation struck the 47th Airborne Assault Battalion of the 155th Guards Marine Brigade, stationed in the village of Shchitovaya in Russia's Primorsk Krai. According to the source, the battalion fought in Kiev, Vuhledar, Mariupol, Kursk and Pokrovsk, and was accused of brutality against civilians and executing Ukrainian prisoners of war. The source reported powerful blasts in the parking lot of a military facility, followed by a second explosion. Russian media said emergency services and a helicopter were dispatched to the scene. Authorities fenced off administrative buildings and parking zones and started inspecting vehicles. We are waiting for obituaries to appear in the media outlets of Vladivostok, the source said. Local officials said the explosions were caused by a gas equipment malfunction, adding that there were no casualties, though several vehicles suffered minor damage. This comes as the second operation of its kind this year. In May, HUR carried out explosions near Vladivostok, also targeting Russia's 47th Airborne Assault Battalion. An intelligence source, Ukraine has previously carried out targeted sabotage operations deep inside Russian territory, hitting military logistics, fuel depots and infrastructure critical to Moscow's war effort. A source told the Kyiv Independent at the time. For example, throughout Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, its extensive fleet of heavy bombers has regularly launched mass missile attacks against Ukrainian cities, in particular targeting energy infrastructure in attacks that led to long periods of widespread blackouts across the country and caused countless civilian deaths and injuries. During these attacks, the bombers fly from their bases to the Caspian Sea, from where they launch their cruise missile payloads before returning to their bases. Throughout their sorties, they fly in perfect safety, far out of range of Ukraine's air defenses. Their bases are also far from Ukraine and out of range of any missiles that Ukraine possesses or has been given by its Western allies. Some air bases are in range of Ukraine's long-range drones, but as these are less sophisticated than missiles and carry smaller warheads, Kiev has until now only had limited success in using them against Russian heavy bombers. While Ukraine is taking steps to develop its own cruise and ballistic missiles that could reach these bases, as well as improving the reach and firepower of its long-range drones, operations like Spiderweb used one of the cheapest weapons already used on the battlefield, first-person view FPV drones. According to the SBU, the drones were smuggled into Russia, where they were then hidden in the roofs of wooden cabins, which were then transported by truck to the air bases being targeted. When they reached their destinations, the roofs were retracted remotely and the drones simply flew off towards the Russian bombers.